Okay. Hey guys, how's it going? It's me, Yoko from Japan. Welcome back to my channel. I'm live from Fukuoka Prefecture, Japan. How are you guys doing? Do you see behind me? It's a flag of Japan because it's the birthday of Japan. It's the 2684th birthday of Japan. Like that, those many years ago, our first emperor became the first emperor, and so since then, our country has been Japan. Japan being has been Japan since then, and our country is the existing most, the oldest independent nation on Earth. Did you know that? So, like, we are proud of that history, and we are also thankful for all our ancestors and everyone who is supporting our country right now. It's such an amazing history that we have. We are really blessed. But yeah, I see your comments. Happy birthday, Japan! Thank you. I am grateful for. I'm here to say thank you, and I represent all the rest of Japanese people too. Yeah, just like July 4th for you. It's February 11th for us. So you're really old, like ancient. Yes, we are. You gotta sleep or no? Yeah, I came in late because I don't know. I was not mentally. I was not in the right place this morning, as you saw on Twitter. Sometimes I just have to let it out, online. I often say like, "Oh, I'm annoyed by some foreigners," right? Because I do get replies, or it's not even replies. Like they tag me for wrong things, like the things that I don't work on. People tag me because it's about Japan, and I'm like, huh, you know. And then they are talking about weird points, and I'm like, do you even know Japan? And I get annoyed, and I don't get hurt or anything. Like I'm annoyed in the way that when you want to scratch your back, you can't reach, and it's annoying, right? Or like I have long hair, and then when my hair is in my face, and I don't know where the hair is coming from, like from which direction, I get annoyed. So that sort of annoying sense is what I get online sometimes, and I just have to say it, like annoying. I have to let it go. Just how I am. Just how I am. So excuse me on that. Japan don't go changing. Yeah, Japan remains Japan. Like we are conservatives. But interesting part of our history though is that of course, we are different from what we were 2684 years ago. Our ancestors had to, for example, starting with which century was that? Like we had to early on we had to adapt to the Buddhism influence. For example, our ancestors at the time, they had to, like they knew that Buddhism was going to be influential in Japan, and at the same time, if we fall back, then that would create more problems. So they, thought of how to get that in without problems. Like we were tolerant. So and then another big point in history, I would say, is Meiji era for us. So like 1800 something, I think, when the Western nations, like after the Industrial Revolution in Britain, or what was it, the UK? What was it called? British Empire. When they came up with all this amazing technology, like Japan had to keep up, and also Western nations they had military forces, and Japan had to change ourselves. Like we were wearing Japanese clothes until then, but we had to even change our clothes and so on. So yes, what's important is that we need to, like, of course the time goes by, and especially Western nations tend to change themselves like at a very high speed. And as Japanese, we have to know what to keep and what to change. So that's what we conservatives focus on. And so we know the history and our strength and weakness. So that's something that we are supposed to be talking about, but actually conservatives right now in Japan are talking about a whole different thing, just bashing each other inside a community. Not productive at all. But anyway. What? Spankings? Nice to see you. Hey Yoko, happy birthday to Japan. Thank you. It's really nice. It's a beautiful day today too. It's a little too windy though. The weather here has been weird. Is it the same for you guys? Oh, I was wondering why my fan is making noises. It's my husband who left the taps open with a different window. Okay. Ohio Yoko, you look elegant and great as always. Thank you. I try. I'm fluffy today. This vest is fluffy. I like furs and so on. Like I don't like the real fur though. I'm not a vegan, but I love animals. So my heart aches, by the way, when animals are used. Speaking of which, bears in Japan, like the number of bears that come down to our living spaces, especially the north part, I think the bears come down, and it's been a problem, killing people. So now they are, I think, categorized as like a bad animal. What's the term? Like, harmful animals or something like that. And so, yeah, poor bears. Japan is so old and yet so young. Thank you. Happy birthday, Nippon. Yay. And also happy Chinese New Year. Oh, yes. It's the year of the dragon. Yes, I know. It's so weird because I play Call of Duty Mobile, right? But it's developed by Tencent, I believe. It's a Chinese company. And I don't know if it's because of that or just that they are just using a lot of themes worldwide, but right now they have the dragon background and it's a Chinese thing. it's like massively done, and I'm like, a little too much to be like in my opinion, but yeah, it's cool because Taiwanese people are celebrating that as well. I don't know about Hong Kong though. It's sad that I don't get to talk to Hong Kongers anymore because I could talk to Hong Kongers here, but my husband and I, we were friends, like really good friends with Hong Kongers inside that are seeking independence from China. So those are great friends, great minds. Like they are so smart, but we can't talk to them anymore because China made up some law now that if they talk to us, obviously we do political activities, so they will get caught. So we don't want to risk that, and we haven't been talking to them. So that's sad. Randomly, my husband is like opening the fridge and just stirring the ice cubes. I'm like, what are you doing? But what was I getting at? Hong Kong, China. I was gonna say something and I just got distracted and I forgot. There was something else that I wanted to talk about. Oh yeah, right. Chinese New Year. So Chinese people are traveling around now, right? Because of the New Year thing. And to Japan annually, they come here as well. But this year, even though it increased the number of visitors from China, it increased a little bit, but compared to, for example, like pre-COVID, 2019, it's only like 30% or something. Like the number from China is very low. And the newspaper said that it's due to the airlines. They decreased the number of flights from China to Japan, and in the meantime, though, I believe from the U.S. and South Korea, they increased or something. So some like that. So yeah, there are reasons. If they don't have flights, then they can't come here. But at the same time, like the number is lower than before, so I guess it's a good thing. Economically, it's a damage, but at the same time, when you think about politics, it's not all bad. Oh, super chat! Thank you so much for super chat. Happy birthday, Japan! Banzai! Banzai! You mentioned on Twitter that there is a difference between conservatives and right wings in Japan. Can I ask what it is? Right wings, they exclude, like, what's the term in English? Xenophobia, is it the thing? Like anti-foreignism, exclusionism, exclusivism. You get the idea. Right wings want to exclude all this foreigners. Like they're strongly against immigration and just foreign influence, basically. And some of them are now even supporting Russia, those who have gone way too far to the right side, and something like that. And conservatives, we are tolerant, and we like the history with the foreign people too included, and like LGBT too. Like if you ask Japanese people about LGBTQ, conservatives say that, like, for example, we were against the LGBT legislation that passed last year, but we were opposing to that not because we are against LGBT people, but because Japan has a history with LG, I guess B, but T is requires surgery, right? So like without that technology thing, but transgender, that's different. But like generally gay people, it's depicted even in our heroes, like historical heroes too, because they have to go to the battlefield and they have some romance between guys, I mean among men. And so that happens, and we just embrace that history, and there are lots of entertainment and celebrity about LGBT or recently T. And so what that means is that we don't, I guess that especially men, they kind of get afraid by other like gay people, I guess, because they get to be the target of their sexual interest. So like I see often like men being kind of like having preferences, like they don't like gay people sometimes, but generally speaking, like we don't discriminate in the way that, for example, Christian nations do. Like some people, like extreme people, even uh, cause violence against LGBT, or they don't let the gay couples stay at hotels and so on. That kind of things happen, but not here. So conservatives here, like our understanding is something like that. So we believe that we have embraced all this sexually tolerant culture. But if you make a legislation saying like, oh, discrimination is bad, let's stop it. If you really say that, it's as if we were discriminating before. And also the Rahm Emanuel, the US ambassador to Japan right now, he was saying like as if like he was speaking in a tone that Japan is behind. I'm like, excuse me, our nation is older than you, and we've experienced more than you, and like we have a long history and lots of cultural things. And he doesn't know a thing about Japan, and he was talking down to earth, and that like combined with that, we are against that because Biden administration is the one that was pushing us to make that legislation. So that I think their aim was to create an example, for them. What's that called in English? I forget the word, but like example, right? So that they can say like, oh, in Japan they passed this legislation, so let's do this in our country. So they can say that, and we could tell that scenario. So we were opposing to that. And right wings, though, in Japan, they are just against everything. So yeah, do you think so?
まあ日本でよくては気持ちからね黒い車乗ってうわー
Right. And right wings, like internet right wings, are just exclusive. Those who that want to exclude like China and South Korea and blah blah blah. And in real life, right wings in real life, they ride on black band, like huge one, and then they have some Japanese letter on the side saying their name, and then they put on a loudspeaker, and they're like making a speech as they drive through the street. They're so loud, and they have some policies like historically, like their historical recognition is something that we have in common for the most part, but what they insist is different from us, and usually really strong, and just accuses our government and so on. And conservatives compared to that, we are realistic, and we do have ideals. We want to be completely independent and so on. Like we do have influence from China and the US, like both sides, and we don't fully feel free even though we are a sovereign nation. So we want to have our army officially and so on, but yeah, but we are not like that. Like it's it is hard to explain, but I hope you get the picture at least. Thank you for super chat. Yeah. And I personally just don't like right wing people. Like the real life right wing people, they are proud and they actually study. So I don't disrespect them. Really? Not anymore? But back in the day, they were. Okay, so my recognition seems to be off when it comes to the real life right wings. My husband says that they don't study much and they've never read a book. They're like rah, 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 muscle, muscle, muscle. Okay. I feel like, I don't know, like your friend. Oh, he's the except. Yeah, they're like, we have a friend, like real life right wing, and he's sophisticated, but he's a rare case, it seems. Yep. Will Japan celebrate with fireworks and beer? No. What's the word? I wonder, like Japanese people, we just have ceremony, like a government level kind of ceremony, and like it's prefectural ones as well. We just have a gathering, and then we listen to speeches. It's so serious, like it's just another political event, I guess. And it's not like that's America. Americans are so cheerful, and they like beer, fireworks, all the things that you can have fun with. Japanese people, we are always dead serious. So yeah. I wish our people celebrate it as well. I mean, after the event though, like if you the local one that I used to like, I haven't gone to ceremonies anymore. But when I was going, locally, I would attend a ceremony, and then I would get like red and white mochi or rice cake. Was it mochi, or I don't, like a kind of like a cake, but Japanese cake, and it's in red and or pink and white as souvenirs. 紅白のまんじゅうが出よってん。So yeah, that's about it. State-based Japan, thank you. Praise Amaterasu, yes. This is the sun. Year of the Dragon Balls. That's a good one. True. I grew up watching Dragon Ball, by the way. Otsani got a $700 million contract. Yeah, we are very proud of him, and we are so thankful of him because he's basically, I guess that we as humans, we don't like, or we are programmed to fear what's different from us, right? But Otani has such a great ability and efforts. Like he makes so much efforts and he's accomplished so much that nobody can ignore that. And like he's at a total different level so that there's no discrimination, I feel. Yeah. So that's where we should all go. Stabby-san. Hayoko-san, congratulatory speech on the founding of Japan is a wonderful way to feel Japan's history. That's true. We should make a speech. That's worse than the feral hogs here. What is that? Buta? Like wink wink. It's not pork. What's the word? 豚ってなんだっけ? Pig だ。Like pig, wild one. Taylor Swift landed safely in Los Angeles from Japan, so she'll be at Super Bowl on time tomorrow. Oh no. I bet that some of you were expecting or hoping that her flight will be delayed or something. I don't know. But wow. I mean, I like Taylor Swift as a musician, and like I'm not necessarily like her music, but like as a musician, like she has accomplished a lot, and she has this, a huge audience, and that's very admirable. But every time, like Democrats use, famous singer and so on. Was it the last time? Or I guess it was when Hillary was running, they used Katy Perry. And I'm like, please don't, please don't mix all these different genres. You guys got laid off from my job? Oh no, Bidenomics. That's awful. I got a few months of severance. What's that? Wait, laid off is a bad thing, right? Oh, you got money? That's good. But wow, but you wanted the job though, right? I plan on going around the USA on my motorcycle. Oh, that sounds amazing. What's great about America is all the road trips that I see in movies and TV shows. Sounds nice. But like I kind of dream. So it's not really a dream, but kind of like, I like to fantasize about having a road trip in America. But then I am so like, when I imagine things, I go so in details, and I think about the times that I have to hit the restrooms, and I'm pretty sure that I will be horrified to go to restrooms in America because I've been there. And it was not too bad when I visited before, but like I don't know, even in Japan, and like I'm a clean freak in a way that like I don't like to go to public restrooms because it's so frightening. I don't get scared easily, but like bathrooms or restrooms are so scary for me. Oh man. So like that's why I don't want to travel around much. We historically are very tolerant to LGBT matters since old times. Since old times? What do you mean by we? Who are we? I plan on going on. Oh yeah. God bless Japan. God bless Yokohide. God bless everyone in chat. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. hey, I found a Malaysian guy who moved to Japan and founded a mosque and tries to convert Japanese to Islam. He converted a decent amount. What are your thoughts? I don't like him or his mosque. Yeah, I mean, there are Muslim people here. I actually am friends with Japanese couple that are Muslims, and I have Uyghur friends. Of course, they believe in Islam. So, but spreading it in Japan feels wrong. But then that's what they do. So, どう思いますか？なんかマレーシアの人が日本にやってきてモスクを作って日本人をイスラムに改宗させようとしていて、でそれなりの人数を改宗させているとどう思いますかと質問できてる。
まあほとんどいないだろう、そんな人。
うん
例外中の例外でそんな人は一人ぐらいしかいない。
My husband says that it's that's like the exception of exception, and we don't have to care about that. Because the majority, like it's all about the percentage, and it's hard, I think, for Japanese people. Yeah, true. Like we live in Japan and we don't even know that, so it's not a threat. I mean, probably you think that you should do something beforehand, or when we realize it's too late or some sort. But then if when we think about the beliefs of Islam and the beliefs of us, it's like it's hard for us to convert to that. Those who with common sense and all that. True. Christianity is more of a problem for us. そうやったそうやった。Those who are against Yasukuni Shrine, Yasukuni Shrine, those soldiers and everyone that have devoted their life to Japan. Like, yeah, just like Arlington Cemetery for you, we have Yasukuni Shrine. And there are people like, of course, CCP and North Korea and some of South Koreans, they are against Yasukuni Shrine. However, the most passionate groups in Japan that are against Yasukuni Shrine is actually Christian groups. So, they are a problem. So true. So the Yasukuni Shrine, like anti-Yasukuni Shrine movement, it's mostly done by Christians, and Christians here mean liberal. So, yeah. But again, it's the number is very limited, very much limited. So we don't have to care too much. But... Yeah, there we have never heard of Christians in Japan that are conservatives. We've never heard of that. Come to think of it, yeah, it's all liberals. So you gotta do something about them. Yeah. Yep. Because but on the other hand, though, like Japanese people are tolerant, and we still like, even if we don't believe in Christianity or Islam, we at least understand where they are coming from. Like we can objectively think of where they're coming from and what they believe in. So that's good. Like, I mean, our religion is total, like it's how we think about things are different. They believe in one God. We don't. We believe in the spirits living in things, and there are many gods too. So it doesn't really conflict, so. What do Japanese right wings think about Korean cars like Hyundai? Like they stole our idea. Like the logo is very similar. So yeah, I used to care about stuff like that, but then it's a business level. So like I Now I don't really care about that, but right wings care about that. Right wings are originally consist of yakuza, yeah. That's true. I guess that's in summary, that's the case. Are conservatives in Japan in favor of changing the constitution? Giving more powers to the emperor? No. What we want to do is revise our constitution so that we can have our military officially. That's the biggest thing. And also we want to set up some new articles though, like about family and also emergency and so on, which we don't have. Other countries have it, but somehow Japan doesn't have it. I mean, it was written by America back in the day as an enemy, so I read a book before many years ago. How do I read more? What are some good Japanese fiction books? Good Japanese fiction books. Good Japanese fiction books. I mean, なんかフィクションの本、日本でいい本。That depends on your reading level, though, I guess. Oh, it's true. And in what genre? Shinzo Abe was a conservative, right? Yes, exactly. But he was also a realist, so like, and yeah, he's not a thought leader, he's a politician, so he had to change his way around depending on the situation. So like from the left side he was attacked as a nationalist, and from the right side he was attacked as a globalist. Just what happens to politicians. Keep Japan Japanese. Moshi moshi. Moshi moshi. That's what we say on the phone. But nobody does this thing anymore. Nowadays it's smartphones, so I guess that nowadays people do phones. They think of like, right? But we from the 80s or somewhere around there, we were like, hello. Right. What is this, by the way? Receiver and speaker, I guess, or vice versa. I don't know. Anyway, what are your favorites Japanese animes and mangas, Yoko? I don't watch or read manga, actually. I mean, animes and so on. But I grew up watching Dragon Ball Z, Sailor Moon, Slam Dunk, Conan, and even Kindaichi, I think. So I used to like a mystery type of things and also fighting stuff. And nowadays, I don't watch anything or read anything. Like my family was not a manga family, comic books and so on. Like there were some, but we are not enthusiastic about it, and we rather have regular books. So yeah, my father would buy some war-related comic books sometimes, though, because yeah, comic books here about wars can be good. Yeah, like they have the good narratives and so on. So my husband, I guess, likes Yamato. Senkan Yamato, Battleship Yamato. How many? Oh, super chat! Thank you so much. Is it Brazil? I saw on our newspaper, by the way, that the carnival is going on, and you have to spray the people that come because there are lots of mosquitoes, and it's dangerous. But anyway, is there any news in Japan about what they are doing with former President Bolsonaro in Brazil? Is a member of the Supreme Court attacking and arresting opponents of the current Lula government? You mean like coverage here?
ニュースとしては俺は知ってるけどね。ほとんどの日本人はまだ知らないということだと思いますね。
My husband said that my husband himself, he knows. My husband knows about the news, but the majority probably don't know about it. I didn't know. But if someone is collecting information, like my husband, then they should know.
スプリーメコートをしてなんか襲ったってやつやろ。
って書いてあるよ。
触ったよ。
うん。
襲撃してた。何百人も逮捕されなかった確か。
Weren't there like hundreds of people that got arrested? Yeah, wow. Very acrobatic in politics nowadays. Japan was kind of acrobatic back in the day, throwing chairs and so on in the diet. I wish I was an adult back then. I was a child, so I was not paying attention to politics. Hugs to your husband. ハズバンドをハグしといてねって理解したからだよ。Battleship Yamato, the cartoon, yeah. And there's an anime, like old anime version, and also they remastered that animation recently. Toyota #1, yeah. They are innovating new technology now, and I read in the newspaper today that they are actually, isn't it with the US? Wasn't it about that? Ooh. Isn't it about Toyota? No, it's just about AI. But later, oh yeah, I was thinking about this. It says Toyota. And they're on public roads. They are trying automatic driving. And so Toyota is now developing new technology to, have nobody as a driver but the car, like automated cars, that you don't need drivers, because the problem for Japan is that we will have the shortage of drivers, buses and taxis. All these drivers are older now and we don't have new ones. So they are now testing new technology. So that's a good thing. Just thought about that when, as you said, Toyota. Let's see. 2,684 years. What a history. Yeah. Thank you. It's happy birthday, Japan. Thank you. Yoko-san, to none less than Taylor Swift. What is none less? 何もない。What do you mean? それでもなお。I don't get it. Yoko, did you see her report on Biden? Robert Hur is a former Trump official who is Korean and said that Biden can't be Ed. How do you read that? Because he has dementia and forgets simple details of his life. Yeah, it's reported here as well about his condition right now. And yeah, and I checked Fox News today to see what kind of topics the Americans are talking about today, and it's all about Biden in his memory. So I'm like, oh, that's everything you talk about? So that was interesting. But it's a problem, seriously, that our critic even was saying that, the head of the US, the problem with memory, like that's something that we can't afford, How did Japan feel when Naomi Osaka represented Japan in the Olympics over America? Wrong. We still feel wrong because she does not represent us at all. She is totally American. And it's not like we are against foreigners, like for foreign blood as Japanese. Like if they are naturalized or if they have the nationality from here, I bet that they struggle though because their appearances are different from us. And when we see foreign appearance, then we instantly jump to the conclusion that they must be foreigners. So by that, probably they have a hard time. But still, like aside from that, yeah, she doesn't even speak Japanese. So, like,
日本人はね、外国人でも受け入れるんですよ。基本的にね、一番典型なのは相撲なの。
あ、そうだね。Yeah.
相撲はモンゴル人なんだけど、
うん
見かけはモンゴル人なんだけど、
うん
横綱になれるわけ。
うんうん
ただし彼ら
うん
はものすごくその地道に修行するし、
うん。日本だしね。
日本語も喋るし、日本語礼儀作法と伝統を尊重するわけ。おさまんない。何や日本語すら喋らない。
I wish that my husband could speak Japanese, I mean English for you guys, but what he said was very, very like he had a good point. So Naomi Osaka, of course, is a tennis player, right? And over here in Japan, for example, long story short, Japanese people accept foreigners as Japanese. Like we can do that. Why? Like for example, if you look at sumo wrestling, oh wait, super chat. I'll get to that. Thank you for your super chat. In sumo, there are lots of Mongolian wrestlers. You know, they look like Mongolians and they are here for our Japanese sumo. But we accept them because they are actually very strong. Why? Because they try so much to get to that point and they become the top level. And they speak fluent Japanese as well. And they're so like in our what's mingled in our society very well. They respect our culture, they respect our language and everything, courtesy, everything, you know. So like there's no problem with us. And but if you look at Naomi Osaka for example, like she doesn't do any of those. She doesn't speak Japanese, she doesn't follow our courtesy, and yeah, only good at sports just because her nationality or whatever. Yeah, it's really different. So like it's really like Japanese society is often misunderstood, especially by like internet right wings from the West, that just because we are a homogenous nation doesn't mean that we exclude foreign people. You know, it's not like we don't accept foreigners as Japanese. We do. We do. It's a weird thing, but we do. So, hey Yoko, could you explain why Christianity or Islam could never have mass appeal over the majority of the Japanese public? なんでキリスト教、イスラムが日本で、まあ大衆に響かないかっていうのは。
文化的に全く違うんだよね。
Culturally, just totally different. I guess the way we think or feel, the way of thinking, like the religion, the composition is totally different.
じゃあ他の多神教は広まるか広まらないけどね。
No, true. That's true. Like just in
だから日本人ってのはね、基本的にね、みんなコンサバティブなんだよね。民族的に。
We are ethnically conservative. Maybe that's the thing, because Christianity, Islam, like it's different. You believe in one God. It's totally different from us. But when you compare that with other like Asian countries, for example, they believe in many gods like we do, like India, for example, Hindu, right? But we don't believe in that. I mean, we take in the good elements, you know, just like Christian people. Some Christian people doing that, like the yoga and what's the chakra and so on. They do that, right? But that's just studying level, and we don't fully believe in that sort of things because just a different religion. And Japanese people are not aware though. So what happens is Westerners, like Japanese nerds, you know, Western Japanese nerds, they often are fluent in Japanese and they talk to Japanese people and they ask about religion of Japanese people. And the Japanese people say like, oh, I'm not really religious. You know, they're going to say that. And then the nerds will react in the way that, oh, Japanese people don't think that they are Shintoists, right? But they're just not aware because it's tied to our customs as well. So, yeah. And yeah, it's ね、なんで広がらないんだろうね。Yeah, it's a good question that like why doesn't it spread here? And there are many explanations done by others before.
違うんだよ。文化的に。
just
文化的に保守的なんだよ。
culturally, we are just culturally conservative, and we don't want to change ourselves. I think なんか自分たちを変えようとしないよね。
しない。
We don't want to change ourselves. Like we will take in the good elements, but we don't like to change ourselves, if you know what I mean. So that's why our politicians do. They're the same. You know, whoever take the leadership, it doesn't change in the way that America, for example, does. You know, in America, it's like from the right side, from the left side, and the right side, like it's like swings, right? But in Japan, even though we feel like it changed so much, but if you compare our politics to other countries, it's a minor detail of a swing, minor swing. So yeah, it's good and bad because we can't keep up. It's hard for us to keep up with the other countries. Japan has very few Christians and even less Muslims. Nothing to worry about. Yeah. I mean, there are more than before, but it's again, it's all about the percentage. What I would pay attention to or like be alert on is the regional thing. You know, like there are, of course, in the like near Tokyo, there's a Chinatown, and you know, there's a place in Tokyo where there are lots of Koreans, and there when there's the places I mean where mosque is where Muslim people get together. So there are communities, you know, or Toyota factories around them. There are Brazilians and so on. So that happens. So we have to keep it there, right? It doesn't spread. So yeah, I mean, but Japanese people, I bet, like when Japanese people live overseas, we do the same thing probably, that they hang out with fellow Japanese people. So like it's just human nature, and I'm not gonna go against it. But yeah, as long as they just fit in into our country, you know. It's remastered, yeah. ね、ヤマトってなんか綺麗になっとったよね。漫画のアニメあなたが見たの。
そうね、リマ
リマスター版ね。I need to find it, watch that as a kid and finally bought the show as an adult. Oh, cool! なんで見たっけ？ネットフリ？ It was probably on Netflix. Or, yeah, probably. Do you think that Takaichi will be a great prime minister? What do you think about her or other potential prime ministers? Mazda number one. 高市さんは可能性があるか。
可能性はあると思う。
There's a possibility that Takaichi will become our prime minister.
個人の政治家として見た時にはすごくいい。
Individually, she's a great politician.
問題は数を集める。
The problem is whether she can collect her supporters inside her party. There's another name though that is popping up, Yoko Kamikawa. Yeah, somehow she's pushed, and it's an odd move, but we are not sure who is pushing and how the atmosphere is created here. But yeah, Foreign Minister Kamikawa, there's some voices that are rising that they want Kamikawa to become the next prime minister. So yeah, I would have loved to live in the 80s Japan. Great music, cars, culture. It looks like a fun time. I want a time machine. Yeah, I mean, it was so good. I mean, 80s and 90s, it was a good time, right? Like we had all these hopes for technology, you know, in the future. And also everyone was just vibrant. You know, it was so colorful and people were so like happy and energetic. And the white people were white people back then, no guilt and doing crazy things. Do you remember like Jackass? I remember seeing that. Like my first pen pal / online boyfriend. Like he liked that show. I was disgusted, to be honest. But just like that's what like white people, like not high class, but like ordinary white people. I shouldn't generalize, but like that's the culture that I enjoyed, white people being white. Huh. The music was so like outgoing too. So yeah. Anyway. Any more comments? Wait, 15 minutes in. I should go in 10 minutes. Did I read everything? Oh, Docomo flip phones. Yeah. Japanese people still use that sort of phones, that you can fold, because it's more secure, So like a lot of those who work in politics, most of them use smartphones, but sometimes they have some other phone, with more security, not the internet, but our own line. And also like you don't like, hackers can come into that phone probably. So they use that. I hope Japan never becomes a Christian or Muslim nation. Yeah, I mean, our nation is based on our emperor, and that thought alone is our religion. Tenno is a Shinto thing, so yeah. Since our daily life and thoughts are based on Shinto, Yaoyorozu kami concept, Shinto is not a religion, life itself. Or like a custom, like, yeah. I do have a weird, like, it's a religion, but it's not the level of religion. It's a mindset, it's a like customs. Yeah. Desert gods don't even belong in Europe or the USA, but they infected those places like a disease. Desert? What do you mean? Japan should definitely always be Japanese. Yeah. We need to do something about our economy though, because without economy, people can't even have children. Because Japanese people think too much, It's so amazing that maybe this is prejudice, but I have a feeling of like Muslim people and Middle Eastern or Africans, like they make lots of babies, right? But over here in Japan, like a developed country, people plan ahead too much to calculate how much they can spend for raising children. Like they're so responsible that they don't, like they choose not to because of their financial situations, and that's what's happening for a while now. So we need to fix our economy. There's mini Tokyo in California, really? Cool. See, I'm like, cool. And so that's probably how it is for foreigners here, that they have a little place for themselves. Yeah, I've seen a little Italy and was it Chinatown? Yeah, I went to Chinatown and there's like Little Italy or something like that. That's called like Italian place in California. When I visited California, like I went to San Francisco and I saw that place. I wish that I had the understanding that I have now when I had visited. I knew nothing about politics or society back then. I was just a stupid kid that just liked America in general. So like I couldn't understand a thing. Tehran's California has a big Japanese community. Cool. The Shinto is a Japanese only religion. Hopefully it starts that way. The globalists are trying to make it a global religion. I wouldn't mind it though. Because like when I look at spiritual videos and speakers, they talk about the things that they find spiritually, and it's like they're talking about energy, you know, and frequency and blah blah blah. And long story short, what they're saying is Shinto. So like, oh, words, when you like everything has energy and vibration, and I'm like, yeah. So that's why you have to pay attention to what you speak, the language, the words that you say. It becomes real. That's our way of thinking. We call it kotodama. Kotodama. So everything has an energy, meaning like spirit. We believe that everything has spirit, right? And that's why we are afraid. And that's why, for example, when we go into war and defeat our enemies, we treat the bodies with respect, because you don't know what's going to happen, right? As a result of like we kind it's like karma in a way, but yeah. And also our kami. I mean, when we greet to our gods, it's we have mirror in the center, reflects you. So it's a projection of you. And you know, what you emit comes back to you, kind of thing. And like if you listen to Joe Dispenza, the doctor, for example, like he talks about how, you know, the what you say when you say something, like your brain doesn't know if it's real or not. So that there are lots of common things. But the thing about Japanese people is that we believe that our country is only these 4 main islands and other small small, and Okinawa, and then small islands, you know, and we don't like to expand. We are surrounded by the oceans, and that's Japan, period. So, like, it would be nice if other people in other countries would understand our cultural values, but then we don't impose that to people overseas. Oh, my stomach just made a noise. Good to know that you don't want to give up the emperor more power. Part of the right here is in favor of return of the empire. Fact is, our second emperor was the greatest Brazilian of all time. When we Japanese say emperor, it doesn't mean the same as what emperor means. So it's just it's hard to translate. It's just lost in translation. So Tenno doesn't fully equal to emperor. So to us, our version of emperor is a symbol of Japan. He is there watching over us, just like God does to you. You know how God is there, right? Watching over you, making sure everything is fine, and supporting you, like being the mental support and so on. That is our emperor. And right now, our emperor, of course, lives in this human flesh. But because it was just how it happened that he was given the limitation of like physical life. And but if you go back in the bloodline, back in the day from the first one, it goes back to our gods, and it's so all like, just imagine like Jesus Christ is still the offspring of Jesus Christ is still alive. It's like, of course, Christian people say like, oh, don't dare compare our God to yours and so on, but like the dynamics is like that our gods, and then our emperor, and the son of the son of, and sometimes the woman, you know what I mean. So it's different from emperor, if you know what I mean. Whew. Hello, I like your work and happy birthday to Japan. Thank you so much. Thank you. Sorry, I noticed this comment way later, but yeah, oh, 59 minutes. I should go. My stomach, by the way, hurts a little bit because when the weather is not steady, I think it's due to the pressure. Like I have a condition, so like it really aches. It really sucks. Every country makes lots of babies when they are not yet developed. That's just how it is. Exactly. Seriously. And now we have lots of Indians and Chinese. There are more Indians now. So crazy. But then if you think about it, Ramaswamy, Haley, and even Snuck, they're Indians. I mean, blood-wise. Yeah. But it mistook and confused the president of Egypt. I saw that. President of Mexico, this has become an elder abuse, yeah. And Nikki Haley is taking advantage of that. What's gonna happen? Congratulations from Texas. Thank you. Thank you. There are actually small towns in the UK that are majority Muslim. Oh yeah. And the small kids aren't even aware they live in Europe. They think they live in the Middle East. That's awful. But yeah, I've heard about how things are in Europe because my friend lives in Europe, and like she was scared and she had to move to another country. Yeah. Little Saigon. Wow. Didn't Japan have Catholic prime minister a decade ago? Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, but prime minister is only a politician level. But yeah, Taro Aso is Christian, right? We hear that, but he's a conservative though. Like he might have his personal beliefs, but he doesn't reflect that onto the policies that he believes in. He's a true conservative, so we all love him. That's true. That's true. The UK is done for. London is the worst, but the rest of it will follow soon too. But they did it themselves. That's true because they were so open. Europeans, they were open to immigrants and so on. We Japanese aren't. We don't even accept refugees.
そういえばなんか、
Hmm.
アメリカの上院で4000人、
Hmm.
結局法案はなくなったんだけど、
うん
4000人を不法移民が超えたら大統領が国境を閉じることができるようになる法律っていうのが妥協してできるとかいう話が、結局下院の方ができなかった。
There was a bill that was taken into consideration in the U.S. about immigrants. 4,000 immigrants,
不法移民。
illegal immigrants. If the number hits 4,000,
そしたら大統領が国境を閉める。
and then the president closes the border.
だけど考えてみると、まあ1日4000人多すぎるだろう。
But if you think about it, 4,000 a day is such a massive number. Yeah, it's abnormal.
4000人まで。
Yeah. Like, why do you let in 4,000 people? That's crazy. Like, can I come, America? Hello, I'm here. Can I come? In Japan, it would never happen. Yeah.
一人でもダメだよ。そんなの。
Not even one. We Japanese people are so strict, like we believe in rules. We are so harsh and strict when it comes to rules. Those who can't obey our rules, we get so angry and hostile towards that sort of people. So, yeah. So the premise of America is just wrong. Just weird. So, yeah. Like the common sense of America is not common sense here, when it comes to immigrants and so on. So, but there are some people that compare America to Japan and talk about threats that we don't have. Yeah. It's weird in America. Abnormal level. Good evening from New Orleans. Once again, Yoko, thank you for tuning in. I have to go though. Does Japan have the equivalent of a sheriff in different towns? Do they wear cowboy hats? No, Japan is, no matter where you go, Japan is the same. And there are city levels are different. When one city, if they have a big population, then they get more money from the government and so on. But our autonomous, what's it called, like our how things are structured is the same. You guys have like a federal government, right? But over here in Japan, it's just prefecture, a bunch of prefectures together. So Tarasu is still in politics till this way. Yeah, what a sharp guy. He has been in politics since I was a baby. His economic policies are actually similar to Trump's. He is very popular among the conservatives because he's including how he wears a hat and he looks badass, like a mafia guy, and people love that. How he shows up because it's funny. He's loved like a character, if you know what I mean. Anyhow, I gotta go. It's 3:30. I bet that it's very late for you guys too. Yeah, my stomach hurts, so 何も話しないよ。Yeah, I have to make a research about Tucker Carlson's interview on Putin. Yes, and I think I'm gonna collect all the reactions from whoever is reacting, from Fox News to CNN, from Nikki to Trump. Yeah, and hopefully I'll get to write something about it. Stay forever. Thank you so much. Be back for South Carolina, Yoko. When is South Carolina? Let me look it up. South Carolina. Oh, that's Nikki's place, right? あれこれか。あれいつだろう South Carolina いつ February 24th. 多分トランプ必ず勝つんだけど、どれぐらいの差で勝つかも。So Trump is gonna win, but what we need to pay attention to is by what kind of margin. Oh yeah, Tim Scott supports Trump. Yes. My husband knows so much about American politics. He doesn't even speak English, but he collects all the information in Japanese and he has a great understanding. Like he understands better than me. So it's amazing. Anyway, thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. And this has been great. It was a great way to spend this birthday of Japan. So thank you. You didn't talk about Putin and Tucker. I didn't really check that out. But I want to see the reactions of people. I personally am not interested because Putin is Putin, Russia is Russia, and yeah, it's probably where you and I probably have a disagreement because we come from different backgrounds. Yeah. Yeah, Americans probably don't like Putin either. My husband thinks, but yeah, like aside from supporting Ukraine or not, but I don't know. But some Americans like Putin because they believe that Putin is on the side of Trump.
そうですよね。
いるよ. Yeah, there are some people like that. I mean, Japanese right wings believe that. Anyway, stream was fun. Bye bye, Yoko. Thank you so much. Feel better. Thank you. I like Tucker. I bet Putin loves Xi and China. He made that very clear in the interview. That's good. That's a clear message. So that's good. Cross check Putin's history and tell us where he is wrong. Yeah, I should. Always honorary for the birthday of Japan and the US. Yes. Hi. I was just ending this stream. Thanks for coming. Okay. This is a weekly live stream. I'll tune in next week as well. So come back, okay? Make sure you're subscribed to this channel. Hit the bell so that you get the notification. And if you miss me, follow me on X in the meantime. Okay. I'm gonna go. Thank you guys and have a great day or night, okay? Stay. I'll be here, just so you know. Oh, hi from Nashville. Thanks for coming. I was just ending this stream. Thank you so much, though. Good night, everyone. Thank you. Hope to, reunite next week. Okay. Your husband can learn English with Duolingo. I'll tell him. He should really study English because he has a lot to offer. I really want him to speak English, and I'm going to help him. Okay. Anyway. Gonna go. Okay. Bye.